Well, as an entrepreneur, you're going to get humbled a lot, especially in the creative space.
Today, Blegan Chris Burnam of the House of Chickn talks the benefit of journaling, the power and provision of God, creation, being creative. This and more on part 3 of Created by the Creator to Create. And now, part 3 of Created by the Creator to Create.
Now, my mother-in-law said something, and this will drive you a little bit as well. She, this was about 2 years ago. She said, "Johnny, y'all are moving too fast." And I asked her if she had a regret, and she said that when she had her retirement dinner, they went over all of her accomplishments, and she said, "I didn't remember any of that because, like, once that was done, I held up the trophy, and I got the award, I got the plaque, and I moved to the next thing." And she said, "You're gonna end up like me. You're gonna get to the end, and you're gonna realize that you sleptwalked through a whole bunch of dates." So how do you slow yourself down and really enjoy the ride to the top so that you don't get to the top and have to go back and say, "Did anybody record that?" like somebody bring me the notes. I want to write a book, but I spent so much time thinking about the next thing, I can't even remember the stuff that got me here.
So there's a few things. So one thing that I tell people that I'm talking to, if I'm mentoring somebody, I'll tell you about some cool things we're doing at the JDC, later. But I journal. I journal pretty much every day. I want to sit down and I want to record those things, whether it's a video journal, whether I have a journal on my phone, and I just put it to the cloud so I won't lose it. So I do that. I make sure that I do that because if I'm feeling a certain way today, let's say if I'm feeling down or if I'm feeling out, and I know that before I felt better, I can go back and I can say, "Man, what did I do this day? Oh, I did that. Oh, I woke up and I prayed and I meditated and I was thankful and I had a gratitude journal. Oh, this is what I did. Okay, let me go back and do that because, success leaves clues." So I go back and do that to slow myself down and to have remembrance of those things. Because if not, I'm just by nature, I'm a you know me forever. I just don't stop. I don't sleep. I don't stop. I just keep going. So I have those moments where I just sit down in our journal and I go over it. And again, my team, my family, they'll be like, "Well, you did do this. You did go ahead and do that." You are the craziest thing that they always say to me is like, "You do realize that this whole thing, everything was nothing, right? It was literally, it didn't exist. It didn't exist." And I'm like, "Okay, And they're like, you created it. You stayed connected, and you started to create things, and you know that it's just, and it's okay." I mean, like most businesses don't last. It's just they give me this information, and it's just like, oh yeah. So I try to stay plugged in as much as possible. My prayer in the morning, my meditation, my journaling, just those things that I never ever thought were, growing up, I never thought they were instrumental. And man, they've really saved me a lot.
Yeah, they turn out to be key things to your existence, because this literally, I was watching. You mentioned Will Smith earlier, and I was watching a documentary on him, and he was talking about how he had made this great record, but he was so far in debt that he wasn't really enjoying it. And then by chance, on an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, he meets the guy that introduces him and brings him in as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then next you know, oh my God, it's on and popping. So what is it like to know that? It's like you started off with a bowl of chili and giving it to some people at the job, and then next you know, we're hearing about this mac and cheese, and I'm thinking, mac and cheese, like vegan? Like who? Like, what are you talking about, vegan mac and cheese? That don't make any sense. And we watching the video like, oh my God, that looks good. And now all of a sudden, House of Chickn, like, bro, what a process this has been. Talk about that, man.
Yeah, so the process has always been, I've always had this, again, go back to the reoccurring themes. It's about being, having that faith. And faith for me is just like literally walking outside the door and going. Like, life happens for you, not to you, and it's like God will provide. It's no matter what we've said, no matter what we've been through, we're here talking today because we've been provided for, we've been prayed for, we've been covered. So those are the things that have happened. So once you have that realization, like, wait a second, if I just continue to walk, like if I'm literally just walk, like if I just go out my door today and start walking, life will happen for me and like around me, and things will happen. I'll meet people, I'll be in certain situations, and those things will happen. So for me, starting out with chili, I would have never, ever, ever been able to sit down and say, okay, from 2017, I'm going to meet all these people. Then I'm going to make this dope plant-based chicken, and then we're going to get it. Our goal is to get it wholesale in the stores now. This is what we do. I would have never been able to do that. So for me, I just have this belief that, it goes back to my core. My core is, I know that I'm here to create. Don't know what it is, but I'm going to start creating, start going, and then all of a sudden you walk and you're like, wait, I have a successful business. I've met these people, and I have a dope product that I believe in. It's just, you have to have that. Not only have that faith just to start, just to walk, not sometimes, all the time. It's usually not going to turn out how you think it's going to turn out, or how you want to present it, or anything. Now you have your plans, you have your knowledge, you have your faith, but you just have to go. And the fact that we started with chili and now we are where we are is nothing but just faith and just going. We just kept going.
Well, I'm so happy for you, man, because like from afar, watching it, seeing it unfold, it's just like, man, God is doing some amazing things. Now, one of the things that we haven't talked about is you make music. You talked about being creative, and I went back and I listened to some of those beats. I was like, man, just beautiful, man. So how are those processes similar?
So again, it's just, and I know people are gonna be like, this boy talk about the same things all the time, but it's about that creative process. It's about me just getting into that. I know I'm here to create, so I just get into a zone where musically, this is how I was able to make that transition from being a producer to being a culinary creator. I just had the understanding that I'm just here just to create, and it's the same process. It's the same idea. It's the same of taking all these ingredients, these drums, this sample, or these chords, or anything else, and really kind of creating it together, flipping it on its head, and like, okay, this is the way I want to look at it. And so music had always been a part of me. It always been, part of my soul. And I had that's how I met my wife, girl groups. They were on Disney Channel, performed at House of Blues, Hard Rock. We reached some pretty dope levels. And again, I should have been more grateful, and I should have appreciated and celebrated those moments more then, which I didn't. But I knew I had that same skill set of creating, and I just really kind of marry those together. So now what I do when I do music is a part of my release. It's a part of me just getting down and getting into the computer and plugging in the keyboard and just playing around and just releasing. Because right now, House of Chickn for me is a very, it's still creative, but I've already created the product. It's already as a process. So as a creator, you don't want to get, I know for me, I don't want to get too bogged down in the process, because then I feel like there's no soul to it, right? So music for me now gets my soul back connected, gets my soul back flowing, and I just believe it's all part of creation. I just believe it's all part of creation. I believe it's all part of the blessing. I believe it's all part of what I'm here to do, and I just love it, man. It's so crazy that you even talk about that you listen to some of that stuff. Last night, man, I have a whole folder of just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tracks. I have so many tracks. It's unbelievable. It's crazy, but I just love doing it.
Wow, well, it's a blessing, man. You've shown that creativity is in us, and we have to access it, and that's one of the things that helps us to stand out. Now, one of the things that we talked about, actually, I talked to your cousin about this, is what is it like when you realize that you have a gift that is next level, but other people have not recognized it yet? And one of the things that he talked about in the podcast was that sometimes you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, my stuff should be in that store, but it's not yet. How frustrating is it to know that your stuff is just as good as the stuff that's out there, and in some cases, it's even better. and you're like, yo, my stuff it tastes better than this stuff without the seasonings. Like, what is it like to know? It's like, man, there's another level, and I got more, and it's got to be discovered.
Man, you were talking my language right there. So I got another level. I got stuff in the tank, and I ain't even presented yet. And me as a competitor, because at the core of me too, I love creating, but at the core, I'm competitive. I am extremely competitive. I'm not at the detriment to other people. I never crap on other people. I never do them wrong. I'm a cheerleader. If you look at my posts, I'm always cheering for my fellow Blegans here, my fellow creators here. I'm always cheering. But
you're not Michael Jordan competitive.
No. I'm more LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring the whole team together, but I'm still gonna bust your head.
Yeah, you're not MJ competitive.
You want the battle with Chickn or Mac? I know I'm the best, but I gotta tell y'all, you can do yourself anyway. So those are the moments, man, that really recently, and I'm gonna be this moment of transparency. Over the past, I would say 6 months or so, that's where I am. I'm just coming out of that stage or that emotion of, yo, I'm looking for a mentor, and I'm looking for, the financial backing. And I've had situations where I've been right there. I'm like, yo, this is a perfect situation. But every single time, God has removed me from those situations, and it's been for the better. Like, I have this thing where I don't want to give up any equity in the business right now. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the next level. And every time that I've been like, yo, this is a great situation. I believe in this situation, I get removed from that. So over the past, I would say 8 to 6 months, I've really been feeling like, man, I'm ready. I'm like, oh God, like, what's up? I love you. You got me. But what's up? Like you see the work I put in. They see the work I put in. They taste it. I know it's great. And it's just got to get to a point where you just have to just have that patience, that belief, and just keep it moving. Like I'm still in that mind state a little bit now, but I'm just getting out of that state where it's like, you see other people and you see them doing things, and that's where the comparison can come. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I know that, I understand that. So logically I know that. Like logically, remember we always talk about logically and emotionally. So I'm working on getting out of that. I'm working on staying in my focus and with the things I got to do. And it's hard. It's difficult. I'm not even gonna front and say it's not difficult, because you see things and you hear things and you see, there's a lot of people. I call this the plant-based meat market is going to be a billion-dollar, like multi-billion-dollar market in the next 2 to 4 years.
Yeah,
I know,
actually,
and that's why
the plant-based meat market, in addition to marijuana, have the potential to be 2 of the next dominant industries out there. Honestly.
And we as a people got to get into both of those. I know
get into both of them.
Use the hashtag JDO3 podcast to join this discussion. Next week, Blegan Burnam talks the plant-based market, the flow of God's hand, and being the flow of God's hand with generosity. Join the discussion by using the hashtag JDO3 podcast. Contact culinary creator Chris Burnam at House of Chickn, or use the hashtag Blegan.